I have found that one of the most important ingredients to quality car repair, whether you're repairing it yourself or having it repaired, is to use good quality parts. That's why I've been using and recommending Napa parts for many years. They fit, they work, and they last, and they have the Napa name backing that up. Professionals do not like having to do a job over, and that's why so many professional shops use Napa Auto Parts. My guess is that you don't want to do the job over either, and that's why you should use Napa Parts also. So for a Napa Auto Parts store near you, go to NapaOnline.com and search for the store that is most convenient for you. You'll also see a lot of neat specials and some very useful information. So get the good stuff. Get Napa Auto Parts.
Good morning and welcome to the CNC Auto Show. Our experts, Aaron Clements and John Ryan Mooney, are cranked up and ready to roll. Here's your chance to get free advice, tips, and information about your car, truck, and SUV. It's the CNC Auto Show.
And we are back on the road again, ready to go.
Yep.
Here we go. And I'm Aaron Clements, and
I'm John Ryan Mooney.
Absolutely.
I had to think about that.
We're here to give you information on ways to make your car, truck, or SUV safer, to make it more dependable, and to make it last longer for less money. We're also here to answer questions, because that's what we absolutely love to do. And our theme today of the show has to do with tips and tricks. And an example would be something I mentioned before,
right.
And that would have to do with using different colors on nail polish to color code your keys so that you can find your keys quickly. And plus, if you used a Mary Kay nail polish, you can pick from some really neat colors like Berry Stylish, Gallery Gray, Garden Terrace, and many, many more.
That just makes it confusing.
Huh?
That makes it confusing.
Yeah, but you not only can find your keys, but you can have an array of different colors to look at that kind of make you feel good.
Gotcha.
Because those colors are really pretty. I'm not sure what color you would want, John Ryan.
Rio red. I just made that one up.
Okay. But I think that's a pretty good tip, and I bet some of you out there may have a tip also, and we would like to hear from you. And so share that tip with us and send it on in. Now, if you have a repair facility that you know or you trust, give them a call. If you have a pair, just give them a call and talk to them about your car. But if you don't, it's a good idea to go to NapaAutoCare.com, and there's over 15,000 Napa Auto Care centers, and you can choose from one, and you can do a search, and you can search 10 miles, 20 miles, or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But they have some really nice people that run people at Napa Auto Care centers. So
yeah.
I definitely recommend giving them a call. And we are ready to go to what we love to do best, and that would be the telephones.
Yep, that's right.
I'm
Let's
ready.
go over to Walt.
Great idea.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, doing good. Walt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I got a somewhat of a tip. At least it helped me in the past.
Oh, we appreciate that.
A few callers back said the truck wouldn't start. Actually, mine was a Ford itself that I discovered this tip on. If you sit inside the vehicle with the radio off and you turn the ignition, sitting quiet, you'll actually hear the fuel pump buzz for about 2 or 3 seconds. If it's not buzzing, that's your problem.
Yeah, you're right.
You can actually hear it, or you get somebody to lay back underneath the fuel tank, and you can hear it real well out there.
Yeah,
But
Walt,
if it's not starting, that's an easy way to check to see if your fuel pump's not working.
Yep.
Walt, here's another one too. If you take a funnel and put it in the filler neck of it and kind of put your ear to it, you'll hear it really, really good. A lot of times you can hear if it's got a lot of wear, it's really, really loud. If you can barely hear it, it's sounds to be good.
And if it's not
Oh, and the
working,
fuel
it's not
hole?
funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't do that by yourself.
Bad.
No, you can't.
Well, you can if you're really quick.
Yeah. Or have a really big head.
You can cut the key
I don't
on, and
think
you
any
have
of it-
2 seconds to run out there and listen to it.
I don't think any of us are that quick anymore.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
We appreciate it, Walt.
Walt, great tip.
All
We
right.
appreciate that. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for some tips today because we're giving some tips. So
Yep.
we want others to call in with tips. Where we're going to, John Ryan?
All right, Aaron, let's go to Briscoe.
All right. Briscoe, good morning and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
We are doing great and we appreciate the call.
Well, thanks, sir. I've got an '04 Honda Civic 4-cylinder automatic,
Uh-huh.
and everything runs good on it. But when I come to a stop sign, I mean a red light, say if I'm going to Augusta, and when it starts to take off, I usually cut the button off just to get all the gears changed through. It's automatic. And then I cut it back on. Is that bad for the motor to cut it on and off?
It doesn't really hurt it to cut it on and off, mainly because going down the road, it actually does that anyways, just from cycling. The vehicle, I'm assuming you're doing that so that, you have a little bit more power, and of course, obviously, fuel economy would increase slightly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
believe it or not, now this is only under certain situations. That vehicle does have a switch that under a certain throttle percentage, typically it's about 90 to 100%, which obviously you would not be saving fuel and taking off slow if that was the case, if you were really giving it the gas. But it actually does cut the compressor off. But if you're just trying to do it to just get that much more economy, yeah, it's perfectly fine to cycle it on and off, mainly because it does it when it's on anyways. The compressor will run until all the pressures get low enough. It'll cycle, cut back on. So it's essentially doing it already.
Yeah, the only thing that I probably wouldn't do is cut it off and then immediately cut it back on. And I wouldn't do that with a home AC unit either, because what happens is the oil is still in the system. And when you immediately cut it back on, it's a small chance that it can cause some issues with the compressor if you immediately do it. But if you wait like 3, 4, 10 seconds or so,
you'll be okay.
Then you would be absolutely fine. You're doing what the computer's doing.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you very much. I enjoy your show.
Hey, we appreciate your call. And we're going to have a quick car gadget. Now, this is a really weird one. And actually, one of our people that help with the show gives me these. So this is Michelle, and she gave me this one to put down. But actually, the gadget today is a breathalyzer keychain.
Oh man, what's she doing?
Flashlight and stopwatch. Now I don't know how all these things fit together, but that's what it is. It's a new mini breathalyzer.
I got it. If you need a breathalyzer, you probably can't see, so it's got a flashlight on it.
You can use the flashlight now, but that should be a tip.
That's to find the keyhole.
If you can't find out where the keyhole is on your car, then you have it. So never again do you have to doubt how much alcohol you've had to drink or whether your friend is legally okay to drive. This mini breathalyzer has a traffic light readout style system, making it super easy to use. Simply blow for a few seconds and then wait, and a green indication light, and you're pretty good to go. Yellow may mean that I would say if you yellow, I'd say if there's any doubt, you should stay home.
Right.
Or let somebody else drive.
You get pulled over and they ask
Matter of fact, in my opinion, if you even have one drink, you should let somebody else drive.
I don't think it'd be good if they pulled you over and said, "Can I give you a breathalyzer test?" No, I got one right here.
Can you use this one?
Yeah, try this one.
Hold on, and I'll give you a printout.
I'm good.
But it's a great reference tool for seeing if you had a little too much to drink. And
I think common sense would tell you that one.
But I believe I believe you're better that if you just had that, you should go ahead and let somebody else drive if you've had even one drink. Just my opinion.
Absolutely.
Okay. We are looking for tips and tricks that you may have for your car. And John Ryan, do you have any tips or tricks that you would like to mention?
I guess this is more of a tip. My big thing is spare tires and knowing where all the jack is, all the equipment. Some trucks even, they have the jack handle under the hood for space. Sometimes they have the jack under the back seat. Sometimes it's all over the place. So you don't really want to be on the side of I-20 or wherever. And, just now learning how to figure that stuff out. So I always urge people to kind of do kind of a rough course of like what you need to do in an emergency like that. Know where the jack is. Some of the spare tires are locking now. You have to have your key to actually unlock them. So just kind of staying on top of that kind of stuff so that, in the case that you did have a flat tire, you're prepared for it.
Yeah, you know what to do.
Yeah.
And I'd recommend keeping you some flares and things like that in case you do have to change a tire. Now, I really recommend if you have a flat, if you can possibly call somebody to come tow the vehicle or change it there. Have them do it because they're professionals and have all the ways to block the vehicle.
Right.
But if you have to, you do need to have everything available.
Yep.
And John Ryan, let's go to the calls?
Yeah, let's go over to Ron.
Great idea. Good morning, Ron, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Hey, thank you very much, guys. I have a question. I have a 03 Dodge Ram, Cummins diesel. I bought this truck new, and ever since it was new, you notice it at night. I'm sure it does it all the time, but you notice it when you have the headlights on that you'll hear a click, and the lights will go a little bit dim, not real bad, but you do notice it, and then it'll click back. Okay, my question is, every so often I'm having to replace relays in it. Never a fuse, but for instance, yesterday I cut it off in a parking lot and went back to crank it, and it wouldn't do anything. You just cut it on, and it wouldn't turn or nothing. So I replaced the starter relay. I had a spare. I carry some spares with me, and it cranked right up, and it works fine. All right, another relay that goes out every so often is the clutch, compressor clutch relay. It'll go out, too.
Okay.
And then I replace it, and it'll last for a while.
Ron, when you were mentioning the headlight scenario, is that with just the key on, or is that idling, or can you set that scene for us one more time?
That's after you crank it up with the headlights on.
Right.
You'll notice the headlights will go dim a little bit.
Is this when it's cold?
And it's done that since it was new.
Yeah, is this when it's cold? When the engine is cold, I'm sorry, not the ambient temperature.
I presume it could be just cold, but I presume it's doing it all the time.
The reason
I know
I
what
asked,
you're thinking.
the reason I asked, Ron, is that particular vehicle being the 5.9 Cummins, it has an intake grid heater, and basically what that does is it heats up the air, being forced induced, being turbo. It heats up the air for just economy and to really get that engine going good. Those things pull like 90 amps. Well, the alternator might be putting out 100, so you're going to see a change in the actual charging system. But like you mentioned, after a period of time when that engine warms up, that grid heater goes off. But that's normally that loud click that you hear on those Cummins engines. The thing with the relays, a lot of times when you're replacing relays, it's because whatever that item is, whether it be the AC compressor or the starter, it's because it's pulling too many amps. No doubt that starter, even in a brand new situation, it's going to pull a lot of amps, mainly because, of course, it's a huge engine to crank over. So that's one reason. The same thing with the AC compressor. If the clutch is pulling too many amps, or again, just has wear and tear on it, it can burn the contacts of the relay and cause them to not make full contact and not cut on.
Okay, so it just needs electrical tests.
Yeah, that's what I would recommend. And two, where those relays actually go in, you want to be absolutely sure that the contacts that where the terminals grab it, you want to make sure those are good and tight and not burn up.
Yeah, what I like to do to my vehicles, I like to pull the relays and the fuses out,
right,
and put dielectric grease on the terminals and plug them back in.
Right.
I do that. I have already done that to this truck.
Right.
Yeah, if you pull them out, that's a good thing to do. All right.
Well, Ron, we appreciate it. If you have any more questions about that, just give us a call.
Thank you, Ron. We appreciate it.
Thanks for the information.
Oh, thank you very much. Great questions. And it's time to take a real quick break, and we are looking for your phone calls, your questions. Yeah. If you're listening outside the greater Augusta area, send us your automotive questions to ccautoshow@gmail.com. And when we return, we have a tip that has to do with the noodle, and we will be right back.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by AdoptUsKids.org.
I might look like an adult, like a person who could possibly be a parent, but I have no idea how to talk like one. And everyone knows that if you want to be a parent, you have to sound good when you say things like, "Don't make me turn this car around," or "because I said so," or "Don't make me come back there." I don't even really know what those things mean, but I know that I actually believed my parents when they said them to me. How did they manage to sound so convincing? Here we go. "Don't make me come back there." Ugh, no, that's not tough enough at all. Kids can sense weakness. "Don't make me come back there." Ooh, yeah, that's better. In fact, that kind of sounded like my dad. Weird.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to listen to you practice your dad voice. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit AdoptUsKids.org for more information. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
This portion of the CC Auto Show is brought to you in part by the Napa Auto Care Centers near you. Regular maintenance is a key to getting the most out of your vehicle, but you shouldn't have to sacrifice trust and peace of mind when finding a repair center for your automobile. Napa Auto Care Centers are built around a quality standard where independent repair business owners are invited to join based on integrity, qualifications, and expertise. That's how Napa Auto Care ensures that you get the best-in-class service that you deserve. From routine maintenance to major repairs, you are covered with ASE certified technicians that use high-quality Napa parts and provide exceptional work that you can feel confident about knowing it's backed by a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. With the largest network of independent technicians in the U.S., a Napa Auto Care Center is sure to be near wherever you might be. It's like having a friend everywhere you go. For a list of Napa Auto Care Centers near you, go to NapaAutoCare.com or dial 1-800-LET-NAPA.
Thanks for listening to the CNC Auto Show with Aaron Clements and John Ryan Mooney, two real live automotive maintenance and repair experts who actually work on all kinds of vehicles every week, so they're always up to date on what's happening in the automotive world. We'll be right back with more of the CNC Auto Show before you know it, so don't you dare touch that dial.
The most important asset of any company is its people, and if your employees come into regular contact with your customers and the general public, they are the ones who create the overall perception and image of your business. When your associates are nicely dressed and feel good about what they're wearing, they are naturally more confident, in a better mood, and more likely to take pride in where they work and what they do for a living. That means, as a rule, that your employees will in turn treat your customers even better. Professional, attractive, well-branded uniforms are one of the most important investments you can make to improve your company's image and morale. I trust G&K Services to provide uniforms for all of our associates, and I can confidently recommend G&K Services for your business or professional practice. G&K Services, providing the finest uniform services for over 100 years. Visit them online at gkservices.com. That's gkservices.com.
This is Joey. Leave a message at the beep.
Joey, this is Katie. You promised me you'd call in the morning, and that was 2 weeks ago.
Is your computer guy treating you like a bad date? Constantly missing deadlines? Not fixing things right the first time? Giving you the geek speak runaround?
Katie, this is Joey. It's not you. It's me. I lied. It's you.
It's time to break up and see other people. Make a date with IntelliSystems.
President and CEO Kevin Wade.
Rely on us for your technology so you can focus on your business.
Hello, this is Joey.
Joey!
At IntelliSystems, we answer our phones live. No technical jargon. We speak plain English, promise to respond in 60 minutes or less for most problems, and you often get someone right away.
Well, hello.
Our clients certify our industry-best customer service.
IntelliSystems, the small business IT department. IntelliSystems.com.
Now back to more of the CNC Auto Show. Standing by at the CCB studios, here's Aaron and JR.
And we are here having a great time talking about tips and tricks for cars, and it is time for another one. And that is, if you have tables or pipes next to where you park your car at home or work, consider cutting a swimming noodle in a way, and kind of cutting it down the side and then sliding it on a table or something like that that might be sticking out. That way, if you open your car door against it, you won't damage your car door. And that's our second swimming noodle tip in the last period of time.
Yeah, we've used that on the lift racks.
Yeah, we've used those on lift racks, and also we mentioned that you can
actually buy like basically PVC conduit, the conduit with a glue stick. You know, it's got glue on it. You can put it around there too.
Oh, and you could probably use pipe insulators to do things like that too. Great tips like that are what makes it. Now we're looking for tips also. We want people to call in, and we may have one or two coming up very shortly from people calling in with tips. So, John Ryan, where are we going to?
Well, let's go over to Ron. Looks like he may have a tip for us.
Oh, that would be perfect. Good morning, Ron, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
I had the answer to the tech kit question, and y'all robbed me. I mean, I was literally robbed. You don't know the depression I've been in.
Muhammad Ali, I think it was. Hey, I've been robbed. Something like that. Okay, but you still gonna share a tip with us, Ron?
Yes, sir. I will.
He said not now.
And maybe a couple. About the most dangerous time that I'm an older driver, and it's that early sun or late sun when you're driving and it hits you in the face, and the light that it reflects off the windshield and your glasses, it almost blinds you.
Yes.
I always keep a cheap pair of polarized sunglasses in my glove box.
Oh, beautiful.
Maybe one that you've taken out of your fishing boat.
Yeah.
You don't maybe it's scratched a little bit. Or either one of those clip-ons. You can buy one of those cheap polarized clip-ons.
Well, Ron, some of those you see on TV sometimes, those are the kind I want, because you see these commercials where they're selling something like sunglasses, and I mean, the person's in the car and they can't see anything. I mean, it's terrible, and they put those on, and everything is perftly clear and beautiful.
Yeah.
I think if those worked, you wouldn't have people getting glasses.
Well, that's it. And, with, you could go with Maui Gems or something like that, but, I mean, my God, that's $200 plus. But you just want something inexpensive, something that you just keep in the glove compartment in case you forget your regular prescription sunglasses or something like that. But it's something you can get in an emergency that you could take care of right there. And another thing, and I know we've mentioned this before, we've had, especially with these kids trapped in cars, and you see these people trying to beat the side of the glass out with a tire iron or something like that. But if you get one of those, and they're not that expensive, is that spring-loaded center punch. You can get them from a tool supply, or, the automotive shops will sell them.
Yeah.
And they're spring-loaded, and you just push it up to the next to the window, press it into the window, and release it, and it shatters the window immediately.
Yeah, it does.
Or either take just a cheap ball peen hammer and keep it up underneath your seat, and just use the ball peen in, and it'll open that window up.
Ron, I know something that breaks windows very easily too is porcelain. Like off of a spark plug, if you crack a spark plug, you can literally drop porcelain maybe 6 inches away from that window, and it will shatter it.
Well, that's interesting. I know. When we were growing up, we were so poor. We couldn't. My parents couldn't afford, pacifiers or binkies, so we had spark plugs.
Well, Ron, I was saying about that deal before you break the glass out. You might want to make sure that somebody hadn't just left their stuffed dog.
I was thinking you might pull the door handle.
I'm trying to
might be unlocked.
Take the breathalyzer test first.
Yeah, use the flashlight.
Absolutely.
And that's another good idea right there, JR, is just to keep a spare flashlight in your car.
Absolutely,
in
that's
case
one of my
everything
favorites.
goes out. Oh man, I mean, it's my all-time favorite.
Yeah,
just keep that because you don't never know when you may need it.
Yeah, I have one in my vehicles, and then I also use my cell phone one also.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea with a cell phone. But just those little simple things make your life so much easier when you're out on the road and traveling. And I don't know of any greater freedom than being able to get in that vehicle and turn that key, and the world is yours.
It gives you power.
It does. It's a sense of freedom. Guys, y'all have a great weekend, and make it safe.
We'll do
Thank
it.
you
Thanks for
very
the call.
much. You do the same. And we are going to where?
Looks like we're going to Larry.
Okay, great. Going straight to Larry. Good morning, Larry. Welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I've got a diesel, and it's got the oil life monitor on that.
Right.
And, I'm just really wondering how effective they are. Obviously, in the past, you had oil change intervals based on miles and everything like that.
Right.
I just wonder about the effectiveness of them and how they're actually working.
Okay. They are based off of an equation, basically. It looks at your driving habits, it looks at your idle time, and then, of course, it makes an equation of how long it needs to be for that interval. They are very accurate as far as, how long it can go and whatnot as far as the interval itself. But what I like to use those as a backup myself, mainly because it's very easily for those to get reset. Say you got 10,000 miles on a diesel oil change and you're messing with the steering wheel controls and you didn't even realize it, but you reset the oil life monitor. Then you go 20,000 miles and you start to see problems there. Or if the battery dies or something along the lines to where it gets reset. We always still stick with the original old sticker that's been around for forever. Use that as your absolute cut in stone interval. Use the oil life monitor as your second one, and then even a third one. Put it in your phone or your Outlook or somewhere there to where that, hey, I got an oil change on this date, this mileage, and the next one's due at this time.
Yeah, and you're kind of dependent on a programmer's decision on when you should change your oil, and sometimes that's not always perfect because GM at one time started having a lot of problems with their engines, and they found out that the oil it was just going way too long, so they reprogrammed them, the ones that did bring them back in, to bring it on sooner. But again, I agree with John Ryan. That's more of a backup system.
Larry, in my personal opinion, I would stick with a 10,000-mile oil change on your particular truck, that 2500 you have. That's what we've seen in our fleets, fleet vehicles. We stick with that. Daily drivers, we stick with that. It's just kind of the happy medium. I know a lot of people like to go 15,000. What I think is more important about the physical oil change is the inspection that goes along with it. I wouldn't want to drive my truck 20,000 miles without knowing what the brakes look like, without the tire pressures look like. I try and break it up to 10,000 miles. That way, you get the time to do the oil change, the inspection, tire pressure, and you're good. Good to go. It's just a peace of mind.
Yeah, because obviously I've got a daily drive vehicle that, I'm real religious and change it at the 5,000. I use the synthetics in that.
Right.
But I just, you've got a lot of money in a vehicle to rely on something that I'm not 100% convinced in.
Right.
That's my question. Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah, I would set my own interval and have a setup to where you can achieve it without depending on the vehicle to tell you. All right. We appreciate it. And it is time to take a quick break, and we'll give you another tip. As a matter of fact, the tip coming up will be the cheapest cell phone holder for a car, or the most inexpensive, rather, that you could ever find. And that more as soon as we return.
This entire piece of music was played with only two instruments, a right hand and a left hand. Hands can do incredible things, but nothing compares to using them to help save a life with hands-only CPR. If an adult suddenly collapses, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of their chest until help arrives. Hands-only CPR is recommended by the American Heart Association, and it's incredibly easy and effective. Find out more about this latest method of CPR at handsonlycpr.org. The power to help save a life is in your hands. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
Welcome to the CC Auto Show. This hour is brought to you in part by your local Napa Auto Care Centers. For as far back as I can remember, Napa Auto Parts has been known as the parts supplier for the professional automotive repair shops. I remember walking into our local Napa store when I was just 13 years old. It was like a social club for technicians. We would talk to other technicians about new techniques and equipment. We knew we were buying good quality parts, and we would all get advice from the very knowledgeable people standing at the counter. Wow, those were great memories. Well, a lot has changed over the years. We now order most of our parts online, and we very seldom pick our parts up. We place the order, and they magically appear a short period of time later. We have megabytes of information at our fingertips. The name of the game is to get it done correctly but fast. But some things have stayed the same. Napa still caters to the professional shops, and they still sell good, high-quality parts. Some good things just get better. To find a Napa Auto Care Center near you, go to napaautocare.com.
You're listening to the CNC Auto Show with Aaron Clements and John Ryan Mooney, two ASE certified master technicians who really appreciate you taking your time to join us today. We'll be right back with more from Aaron and John Ryan. So stay right here where you are for more great car care advice on the CNC Auto Show.
When buying a house, most people go to a real estate agent. That way, the agent can help them decide their budget, their needs, and their desires. The agent also helps them to understand the financing, insurance paperwork concerning the house, and make sure that it has a clear title and that you're aware of any known pre-existing conditions. Well, that's exactly what Philip Hawkins of Philip Hawkins Motor Company does with the nice, clean, quality used cars that he sells. Philip and his team are true professionals that will let you make the decisions, but give you the information and guidance that you need to make a good, well-informed decision. Most people would not dream of buying a house without a real estate agent. Well, why buy a nice used car, truck, or SUV without Philip Hawkins? Philip Hawkins Motor Company is located at 2000 Jefferson Davis Highway in Graniteville, South Carolina. They also have a great website with pictures and lots of cars that are in stock at hawkinsmc.com, or you can give them a call at 803-593-5990.
Now back to more of the CNC Auto Show. Standing by at the CCB studios, here's Aaron and JR.
And just before we went into that quick break, I mentioned that I would tell you about one of the most inexpensive cell phone holders you could ever get. And here it is. It's a rubber band. You can take a rubber band and loop it through your vent on your AC vent in your car, and then you could take the top half of the loop and run it through the top part of the phone, and then the bottom end of it and run it through the other end of the phone, and it'll hold your cell phone nice and secure.
I thought you were going to say cup holder.
Nope, just a rubber band, and it'll work out great. Okay, we'll be going to the phones, and where are we going?
Man, Aaron, I'm ready. Let's go over to Norman.
All right, Norman, welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Well, thank you. I have a 94 Dodge Dakota. I just bought it. It's only got 78,000 miles on it. It was a one-owner vehicle. But when you first get in it, it doesn't want to start. It just grinds and grinds and grinds, and eventually it will start. Now, I put an idle, I guess they call it an idle control valve on the back of the it's not a carburetor, but that's
the throttle body.
The throttle body, and that helped for about 2 seconds, and now it's still doing the same thing.
That wasn't very long, Norman.
No, it's not.
We can't even call that a temporary fix.
So it helped for 2 seconds.
Well, it helped for about 2 or 3 starts. Now I did put plugs and wires in it.
Right.
You know, the car hadn't been driven much with that low of miles on it, and I just don't know where to go next. And I guess I have to just go to a dealer or something.
They might not have drove it much because it wouldn't start.
You ruin his hope and dreams,
Well, that's a possibility too. But the lady was 90.
But we will fix that. We're going to come up with some ideas to take care of that.
Norman, when you mentioned the vehicle, you know, did you mention the engine does rotate over, or the starter is?
It cranks like it acts like it's flooded, or it acts like it's not getting spark, one or the other. It just grinds and grinds and grinds, and eventually it acts like it's flooded, and then it'll take off and start.
All right, we're going to use this one as a contest. John Ryan's going to come up with his solution.
All right,
and then I'll come up with.
I always go first. You go first.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'll go ahead and do it. I'm thinking crankshaft sensor.
Possible.
And the engine is spinning, but the computer is not seeing that it's spinning, so it's not supplying any injector pulse and not supplying any ignition fire. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. What's yours?
All right. Norman, does this vehicle ever run, like after you crank and crank and crank and crank?
Oh, yeah, it does. It runs real good.
Okay.
At about 2,000 RPMs, it acts like it's missing, but I don't know if it's an injector that still isn't cleared up on it.
This is a total random question, but does this vehicle have a tachometer?
Yes, it does.
Is the tachometer real good and straight, like you don't see it jumping around and bouncing and all that kind of stuff?
No, it's real good and straight.
Okay. The reason I asked, that's the model with the pickup and the distributor. When it gets a false signal, the tachometer jumps up and down.
Oh.
I do feel like you. I mean, you already know this. It's missing one of the few things it needs. It's either missing spark or fuel on crank up. What about like the tune-up interval? Do you know what the condition of the plugs are like?
I just put brand new plugs in it right after I bought it.
Okay.
And wires.
Right. Do you have a spark tester or anything like that?
You can stick your finger in the plug wire.
Yes, spark
I'll pass on that. Thank you.
That's a very good test. It's accurate.
Depending on how loud you yell as to how much sparks come out. Say, hey, that sounds like 80,000.
Yeah. Norman, what about when this vehicle is not running, like when you're spinning over, if you give it some throttle, will it actually respond? Does it want to try, or does it do anything different?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
No.
I do feel like, and I think like Aaron mentioned, you're missing one of the two. It's very doubtful you're missing both. On that vehicle, it is, of course, fuel injected. It's got a throttle body. It has injectors.
Right.
If that fuel pressure is not exactly what it should be, even the injectors won't spray the proper amount of fuel. And you mentioned it does this kind of cold. Once you get it to run, it does run, but it's kind of running not as well as it should. Like you mentioned, it kind of skips around 2,000. So I leaned a little bit more towards fuel pressure, mainly because you said it's been sitting up. But there's a lot. We threw a lot at you. We threw an ignition system problem and a fuel system problem. So, unfortunately, I would recommend getting this one diagnosed, just because you don't want to keep spending money and putting it, this area, Aaron's area, my area, and then find out it's an ASD relay that's not even letting the computer wake up.
Ooh, now that wasn't bad. But Norman, you do need to report back and let us know who got it. Because and I'm gonna put that ASD in there.
I don't normally listen to you fellas, but I just found you a couple weeks ago, so I will. I'll check back.
Norman, you mind us asking how you found us?
Well, I was in Augusta on a Saturday morning and heard you on the radio.
Well, great. We appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
So I'm listening to you on iHeartRadio right now. So
well, great. Well, give us a follow-up call.
I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. This was actually a phone call that I got last week. A good customer called and mentioned that her daughter was going off to school in Columbia, South Carolina, and she wondered if I knew a shop there. Well, as it turns out, I did have a friend with a very nice shop in the Columbia area. The problem was that I really didn't know what part of the Columbia area that she would be in. So I told her the name of the person that I knew, but I also told her something that I tell all of our customers that are out of town or their kids going out of town and they are looking for a good repair facility. I told her to visit NapaAutoCare.com and search for the area for a shop that is right for her. And I walked her through it, and we found about 20 different Napa Auto Care centers in the area. Now she'll be visiting the websites and calling the businesses and visiting one or two, and she'll determine the one that's right for her. But what's good is even if she has to move to another city after she graduates, she'll still know the steps in finding a good, honest, dependable repair facility. I really think that should be part of the curriculum also.
You ready for a real quick break?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
It's time for a real quick break.
Oh, you're trying to say it's time for a break? All right. Well, we can do that.
I'll put a cork in your other ear so it actually stops.
We can do that. We'll take a real quick break, and we'll have more tips and tricks for cars and more answers to automotive questions as soon as we return.
As a young teenage boy, I didn't even know what autism was. How do you even spell that? A few years later, I heard that a friend's cousin's son had been diagnosed with autism.
I still wasn't sure what that really meant.
When I went to college, my roommate's brother had autism. When I moved to the city for work, my best friend called me and told me his son had been diagnosed with autism. We were both in shock. I still remember the day I walked into the house and saw that look on my wife's face. I knew something was wrong. I'll never forget how I felt when she said, "Our son has autism."
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 68 children is diagnosed with autism. That's about a 30% increase in 2 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Welcome to the CC Auto Show. This hour is brought to you in part by your local Napa Auto Care Centers. Napa Auto Care Centers are built around a quality standard where independent repair business owners are invited to join based on integrity, qualifications, and expertise. That's how Napa Auto Care ensures that you get the best-in-class service that you deserve. From routine maintenance to major repairs, you are covered. And the great part is you are covered wherever you may travel. The work performed by ASE-certified technicians at the Napa Auto Care Center that you visit is covered under a 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty. With over 15,000 Napa Auto Care Centers nationwide, there is sure to be one near you. To find a Napa Auto Care Center near you, go to NapaAutoCare.com or you can call 1-800-LET-NAPA. I recommend putting that number in your contact list. It will be like having a friend in the auto care business everywhere you go. That's NapaAutoCare.com or 1-800-LET-NAPA.
Thank you for sharing your morning with us right here on the CNC Auto Show, hosted by Aaron Clements and John Ryan Mooney, 2 ASC certified master technicians who believe in helping you make your car run better, last longer while saving you money, and having fun all at the same time. We'll be right back soon, so keep listening.
If you're looking for a good used car, truck, or SUV, there is a place that I can proudly recommend that you can call, and that would be my good longtime friend Philip Hawkins at Philip Hawkins Motor Company. I believe that Philip Hawkins Motor Company is the Match.com of cars. They have a great gift of matching a person with the car that is just right for them. It all starts with an interview to determine what your likes and dislikes are. What is your budget and what do you need to do? Next, they interview the car, truck, or SUV by looking at its basic information and history. A representative will introduce you to your potential new vehicle and then let you two be alone to talk for a while. You would not believe the number of couples that come back and say that they would like to be as one. The next thing you know, they are riding down life's highway playing their favorite song on the sound system. So for the car, truck, or SUV of your dreams, go to HawkinsMC.com or call 803-593-5990.
While cutting molding with a 12-inch dual compound miter saw, while holding a newborn baby in your arms, when face-to-face with a congregation of alligators, with the ball in your hands and the entire freaking season on the line.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting, so why would you do it while driving? NASCAR driver Casey Kane here, asking you to please stop the text, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Get the message at stoptextstopwrecks.org.
It's time for the CNC Auto Show. Each week, we give you a chance to get free advice, tips, and information about your car, truck, and SUV. Our experts are cranked up and ready to go, so let's go to the CCB studios in beautiful downtown Augusta. Here's Aaron Clements and John Ryan Mooney with today's show.
And we're also talking about tips and tricks of things that you can do to make your driving more enjoyable. Here's one. You can use an old Wipe'ems container to hold trash bags or plastic grocery bags that can be used as trash bags.
Oh, like the little Clorox dispensers.
Yeah,
I got you.
Just pack them down in there real good and pull one up, and then that way, if you need one, you can just pull them right out, and it'll keep them all in one spot where they're not laying everywhere. I think it's kind of a neat trick.
There you go.
Maybe some others will call in with some more, and where are we going?
All right, Aaron, let's go over to Jeff.
Oh, fantastic. Good morning, Jeff, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Good morning, gentlemen. How's every little thing?
You know, I think it's just right,
Yeah,
Jeff.
I agree.
We feel good. I mean, real good. What can we help with?
That is true. Well, hey, so I've got this neat little Buick Skylark that I bought for my son.
Yeah.
And it's a 97. And it just started when I set it at idle, it'll start this rattling in the engine. And when I look at it, it sounds like it's coming from my alternator. Is that something that needs to get fixed right away? Is that something we can, put off, or how? It sounds like it just might just be just that little rattling right there in the alternator.
Jeff, I don't even think it needs an alternator.
I don't either. That's exactly what popped into my head.
That was an option on that vehicle.
No, I'm talking about it. I don't think he's going to need one anyway.
No, I don't either. We see, what we see on that vehicle a lot of times is either an idler pulley or something loose, just like you mentioned.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah, if the alternator has been replaced, believe it or not, we see a lot of vibrations and different characteristics of noises come through loose components. So we've seen AC compressors come loose. Yeah. It sounds like it needs an engine. So just, visually you look at it real close. And, see if you see anything moving or vibrating or shifting differently. And that's probably where you're
The alternator normally won't have the rattle. The alternator, when it goes bad, it'll have either a bearing noise or a whining noise or something along those lines. Very seldom do they make a rattle noise. But just like John Ryan mentioned, usually the bracket's loose or a tensioner could. But I think that if you get down there and look closely and take you a wrench, cut the car off and you start tightening stuff up, I bet you're going to find something loose.
Yeah, I like that tip about shutting the car off before I do that.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Tell them about that time that guy pointed to the belt for you, Aaron.
Yeah, that I heard about that. A guy, a good while back, he was showing someone something on a car, and it was running, and he stuck his finger down there to show the guy where the noise was coming from, and his finger popped up against the wall, and that was bad. So you don't want that to happen. And I can tell you from personal experience, it's exciting if you listen to a car with a stethoscope.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And the engine snatches it out of your ears.
Oh, yeah. I've had that happen before.
You hadn't lived till you had that experience.
And I remember saying, well, if that wasn't the noise it is now.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great
Jeff,
Saturday.
thanks for the phone call.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Number 706-863-5800. Where are we going?
And let's try Roger. He might have a tip for us about not using the stethoscope.
Don't stick it near the moving pulleys.
Yeah. Good morning, Roger.
Good morning.
I have a tip for you. Don't give up your day job. Comedy is not your cup of tea.
I agree, and I know that, but there's nothing I can do about it. It's just.
Hey, listen, Ron called a few minutes ago about the sunglass issue and keeping a pair of sunglasses, but here's something that a lot of people, I see them at the gas station here, and they don't realize, but sunglasses, polarized sunglasses will actually negate the digital images that comes up on a gas pump screen.
Yes.
And so they're standing there looking at the pump, trying to see the screen with their sunglasses on. And I'll walk over and say, look, if you'll just raise those sunglasses up, guess what? Those numbers will appear.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, they say, well, I never realized that.
They came to you, told you your pump was broke.
And that is when you go to pump your gas, if you have difficulty trying to see the screen and read the numbers, simply raise your sunglasses up. And it will allow you to read those digital numbers without any problem whatsoever.
Yeah, it's really kind of weird. Sometimes you can look, and it's almost as if the numbers are not even there. Yeah. And you take your sunglasses off, and they're there. It kind of depends on the way that the sunglasses are polarized.
It is, and the angle of the sun will have a lot to do with it, but a lot of people don't realize that. They just continue, and then, of course, they get all frustrated because they can't read our good price today, and so they start fussing at me, but that's okay.
They tell you your pump's broke.
And then that way, if you get caught off guard and you're driving and all of a sudden the sun's in your eyes, you'll have something to put on. And that way, if somebody slams on brakes in front of you, you'll be able to see that car. So always keep that pair of sunglasses handy just in case you might need them. Well,
so that's my tip for the day.
Roger, we appreciate it, and that's what we love to get. And before we go to the next call, I'm going to give a car tip here. And I'm kind of surprised that no one's called in with a real good hide-a-key tip. So I might give one or two, and then, John Ryan, I know you have to have a hide-a-key tip.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Here's real quick. When you can use a zip tie to actually zip tie your spare key to the frame. And I recommend just when you get your oil change sometime, and really zip tie this thing in a really hard place to get to, because what you want to do is if you hide the key in a real hard place, especially if it's raining outside, when you lose your key or you lock your key in the door, and you have to crawl under there to get it out, you'll never lose it again.
That's right.
So zip tie it really good. Another one I'll mention is a pill bottle, because a lot of hide keys and things like that don't really have it to where you can put a whole key fob in there.
Right.
So you can use a pill bottle to put the whole deal in there.
I'll give her a real quick one, and I'm going to have to obviously change this on my truck because I won't have one if I tell the story. But most trailer hitches have an enclosed 2-inch square receiver hole. If you take the hitch out, there's still normally 6 to 8 inches left, so you can throw a key in there or anything you want, put the trailer hitch in, and there you go. Spare key.
If anybody wants a really nice Chevrolet diesel truck that looks really good,
I'll change that.
Now you know how to get it.
Hopefully no one's outside listening.
Yeah, I'll tell you where the keys are.
And I'll tell you where OnStar tracked it to.
So
all right,
you can find it. Where we're going to,
We just
John
got
Ryan?
just a minute or two. Let's see if we can get Brian.
I think we should do that. Good morning, Brian, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
How you doing? I got a tip for your hideaway. I got a 2000 Silverado, and I got one of those metal magnets that you put it in. And right on the bed of your truck, on the top side, you can reach underneath it and stick it right there by the driver's side door. I'm notorious about locking my keys in my car. And when it just sticks right up underneath there, right, nice and neat.
Brian, what's your license plate number?
Yeah. What color's your truck, Brian?
Orange. It's orange. Yeah, orange.
Of course it is. That's a great tip, Brian.
Yeah, I like that. I think that would work out good.
Thank you.
You don't have to get on the ground. You don't have to, look for it. It's just reach your hand right up underneath there. Just kind of bend your wrist, and it's right there.
So you just use that one as your normal key, don't you?
Most of the time.
Thanks for the tip.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, when purchasing tires, remember that tires do have an effect on your fuel mileage. Tires with a lower rolling resistance, which is the amount of force that it takes to push a tire down a road, are more fuel efficient than others. There was a time when you had to make a sacrifice between traction for energy-efficient tires. More recently, though, tire manufacturers have been achieving a better balance between the rolling resistance and all-weather grip. Don't let the rolling resistance be the main factor when you're choosing the tires, but it is a good idea to factor it in as you're making that decision on purchasing a set of tires. So keep that in mind as you purchase your tires. Okay, we'll give a real quick travel tip, and after we do that, it's going to be time to shut down this puppy for a little bit. And the travel tip is to make sure that I think you already mentioned this one time, make sure that your spare tire is in good shape.
Yeah.
And not only be sure your spare tire is back there, but make sure it's got air in it.
Yep.
Yeah, and make sure that you have all the other little mechanisms.
You know why that's my tip, right? Because I don't have any of that in my truck. I always think about that, but my own truck, I don't have any of that in there.
Well, as much room as you got back there, you should be able to put a spare back there somewhere.
Yeah, but I need a floor jack.
Yeah, but check your spare. Check the to make sure it has plenty of air in it. Make sure that you have all the jack mechanisms, and if your vehicle has lock-and lug, you want to make sure that it's got the lock-and lug key to do that.
Throw them away if you do.
Exactly. Okay, it's time to shut this puppy down for just a little bit, and we want to say thank you very much for tuning in to the CNC Auto Show, and we hope you, whether you tuned in, logged in, or however you're in, we appreciate you joining us, and we hope you join us next week again for the CNC Auto Show. I have found that one of the most important ingredients to quality car repair, whether you're repairing it yourself or having it repaired, is to use good quality parts. That's why I've been using and recommending Napa parts for many years. They fit, they work, and they last, and they have the Napa name backing that up. Professionals do not like having to do a job over, and that's why so many professional shops use Napa Auto Parts. My guess is that you don't want to do the job over either, and that's why you should use Napa Parts also. So for a Napa Auto Parts store near you, go to NapaOnline.com and search for the store that is most convenient for you. You'll also see a lot of neat specials and some very useful information. So get the good stuff. Get Napa Auto Parts.